more or less than I profit on a PC that I sell. So I think I've found a way to sell Mac computers to people when they want them and still make a good chunk of change on it. And the benefit to that is working on a new Mac is a pleasure. If
Yeah.
you know how to use Macs, it's a pleasure working on them. And you know what? It just, I hate talking people out of something that they should have. And before a year ago, I would say, no, no, don't buy a Mac. Make sure you get a Windows machine. When, if they want a Mac, why shouldn't they get a Mac?
So did this customer come to you saying that they wanted a Mac, or how did
So,
you qualify that they needed a Mac?
so I went out and saw them. The computer was broken. I can't remember what the problem was. Went and saw them. Computers are right off. To be honest with you, I don't remember that part of what exactly was wrong with the computer. I just remember it was really old and not worthwhile. And I
Mm.
said, okay, we need a new machine. What do you want to do? And they said, oh, I have an iPhone. I really want to get a Mac. I played with my daughter's MacBook, and I really want to go Mac. And then so I told her the drawbacks and the benefits to Mac versus PC, and the drawbacks and benefits are price. You know, for the equivalent iMac, she bought a 11 inch or a 21.5 inch iMac, which was $1,400 with the extra RAM. You know, she could have got a $900 PC ish. You know, it's a quad core machine and stuff like that, so they're good machines. You know, give or take 900. She's like, yeah, I'm willing to spend the extra money. So hey, you know what? You want it? Give her.
Well, also, Chris, it's kind of nice that you, knowing Macs, are not going to get her the Magic Mouse, or yeah, you get her the pad, right, for the side of the keyboard.
Whatever they want.
Suggestions. What have you had a customer who's got the Magic Mouse, or would have you kind of talked to them about that kind of thing too? The
Yeah. So
peripherals that
both.
go along with it.
I have another story it's not even a story. I was just gonna say it's exactly the same as that last lady, except I sold them 27 inch, but it's exactly the same. One went for a trackpad, one went for the mouse. You have to make sure you qualify that first, because it's, if you just go into Best Buy, you can only get the mouse. That's all it comes with. It will not come with the trackpad. You have to get the trackpad in the computer with the computer from an Apple store.
Uh,
The mouse is silly. It's really a terrible, terrible device. It's so small. It's hard to use. But some people then go, oh, trackpad. No, I'm not interested in that either.
so I don't expect that you go to Best Buy to buy any of them now, though, right? With your
No,
business
Apple
account.
Store. Yeah,
Yeah.
Apple Store all the way, because I want to, every plateau I hit, I get more percentage off.
So
So
you don't
that
have to
first
buy in
plateau was,
bulk. You just need to buy
no,
quantity over time.
yes.
Oh, that's
So the
yeah.
first plateau is 5,000, the next plateau is 25,000, and then it falls up from there. So
Okay.
I'm close to about the 10 now, because I buy all my Apple stuff from there, plus my customers' Apple stuff. So it doesn't take long. You know, when computers are, you know, by the time you taxed out $2,000, it doesn't take long to hit 10 grand.
All right. Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah, I'm just excited. It's fun, you know. It's fun to have another avenue to be able to sell products. I'm still selling, the bulk of my stuff is still Windows, you know. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 calls is still Windows. But now I'm getting, you know, I'm getting one or two out of those 10 are Macs.
well, and you don't want to tell any customer that no, I don't do that. Sorry, you'll have to find somebody else. You don't ever want to do that.
No, you're right. Spot on. Yeah, I
What
always
else?
make sure I can do everything, and if I can't, I tell the customer. And that's my next story.
Okay. Well, let's go with that story. You can't do something.
Yeah. So
Well,
customer called me. He had about 6 computers in his business, and a server, small business server. I'm not a server guy. I know very little about them. I can fumble my way through a server. I can do basic things, you know, connect printers. Yep, connect printers, and maybe do some updates and backup and stuff like that. But you know, just basic things. I don't know much about domains and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, I went out to see this guy, and I was nervous because he was talking about VPN and things like that I just really don't know a lot about. And I went out and I fumbled about for about half an hour trying to figure out what they wanted to do, and they wanted to be able to VPN from their laptops into their small business server. And there's quite a few things in the way of that. Obviously, a router and your ISP, making sure you have a static IP, and then remoting into the server. And I went out and I spent about half an hour, and then I just decided that I can't do this job. I just don't know how. And it's a hard thing to say to yourself, especially when you're out there and your customer is watching you. So how I handled it was I said to the customer, I'm really sorry. This is a little actually above my head. I can do some things with servers, and my the main job I do is with workstations. So I'm not going to be able to help you today. But I have a company that I can recommend, and I can call them for you, get a quote for you, book it for you, and help you with this other company. And he was like, oh, okay, who's this other company? And I told him who it was. And he said, great, yeah, you'll do all that? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it free of charge. I was, so I called the other company, got them to come out, got them to fix it. I was the point of contact because the guy liked me, so I was sort of the point of contact. Got everything fixed. The guy paid for it, and what he said to me at the end, he said, that was I really appreciate you being honest with me, and that was really good. The computers are fixed now, everything's working. I really appreciate it. I was like, great, okay, fantastic. And I just didn't want to look like a tool, right? I wanted to make sure this guy was somewhat happy. So I drove away. About 5 days later, he called me and went, my home PC isn't working right. Can you come out and help me? And so I was like, great. And I went home and I fixed his home computer and he paid me and all was good. And it was just like, I was like, good, I did the right thing there. That was, instead of trying to break his stuff or trying to learn on his dime, which I'm not going to do. Now I'll try, we all are learning on people's dimes a little bit, but you have to be somewhat careful. And it was a good learning lesson for me because I now know how to handle that if that happens again, which it will, because there will be a problem that I won't be able to fix. And I think as long as you help the customer and as long as you're truthful, you can try anything. Just don't mess up their systems that they have now. Don't break it worse. And don't be afraid to say, I can't do this. And if you can't do it, help them find someone that can.
Yeah. Had you worked with that other person or company that you hired for that job before?
Twice.
And you've hired them for your stuff. Yeah, it was kind of nice that he was able to call you rather than, if you would have just said, well, here's this guy's card, he might have called him when his personal computer broke, instead, and you would have totally missed out on that. But yeah, you made a good customer, and a business guy is never going to want to, it's bad enough calling one computer guy, but then have to go and call another one. They don't have time for that kind of stuff. If any kind, you can be in a liaison and make it easier for a business to get something done that they want to have done. That's all the better. They don't have time for that.
Yeah, it was cool. I was impressed that he called me back too. So I obviously thought I was like, oh, good, I did the right thing, thank God. Because when you're sitting there, it's a terrible feeling when you're sitting there looking at a server and you're kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing with this thing. What do I do now? The customer's just like right behind you or in his office, and what do you do? I mean, some of us have been in that position. I've been in this position before too, where you just don't know what's wrong. And you've told this person that you can fix their stuff, and yeah, it makes it's hard. It's a hard thing to go by. So the reason I told that is because there's going to be lots of guys out there that are new to this business, and you might get a phone call and you might be a little nervous. Don't be nervous. Take the job unless it's way out of your reach, and you can tell right away it's way out of your reach. Then don't do it. But if you think you might be able to do it, just make sure you have backup. And so what I did when I first started this company a year and a half ago, I went to 4 different companies in my local area and talked to them about this, going, I don't know much about servers. Do you guys want to partner with me? And I found 2 companies that did, and I just picked one of them, and this is the one that I use. So I think it's a good way for you to do that. And that way there you have a fallback position if this problem ever arises that you can't fix. Now, the other way I could have done it, and I'm contemplating doing this at some point, is having a consultant or hiring somebody or someone sort of, on retainer, on staff that I can call with these problems and have that person come with me. That is much more server oriented, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You have just somebody temporarily help you with something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a very similar problem once, and and I handled it a little bit differently because I could. But I'm like you. I don't know a whole lot about servers. I get a call one day that from a company I've done a lot of work for before, and they said that, well, the lady went to the office and the server that's in the closet's beeping really loud. It's beeping so loud that she doesn't even want to be in there with it. I'm like, whoa, okay, yeah, I'll check it out. So I go in there and this thing is just beeping, just this huge alarm. And it's
Hmm.
just, it's a big server. It's tall, it weighs about 50 pounds, it's a big metal thing. And I go in there, I realize it's actually not even the server. It's the huge battery backup sitting right next to the server that was
Right.
beeping. I'm like, oh yeah. So I what I ended up doing is just ordering some new batteries and replaced all the battery packs in it and rebuilt it. But I kind of bit the, I was kind of dodged the bullet there because I don't know what I would have done if I had a beeping server that I had to look at and figure out why.
Totally. I have the same. I have a few customers that are like that where I work on their server, but it's, I just told them, like, I have three customers that both have, all three of them have servers. And I said, if it's anything really big, I'm going to have to bring someone in, but I can do the basics. I can do updates. I can make sure your server is backed up to an external hard drive. I can make sure we have a UPS connected to it. I can make sure printing is working, and I can connect new computers to the small business domain. That's just about all. I can't really set up an exchange for you. I can't, do anything to do with exchange. That's I have a basic skill set, and but I'm also less money. Guys that know lots of stuff about servers in my area are charging $130 an hour. I'm 105 for businesses.
Yeah,
So I'm a
yeah,
little bit less, and I'll help them. I tell them, I go, hey, you know what? If it's above my head, I'll get somebody else in to fix this. You don't have to worry about it. You pay me, I pay them.
yeah,
These are
yeah.
good clients.
What else did you have tonight?
Okay, so that's it for like computer repair stuff. I just wanted to start talking about business and how we can all do new things to make money, and how to sell our service, and to not be afraid to talk to our clients about new things that we have, and just make money. That's what it's all about. This is great. I love it. It's a fantastic job, but it's still a job. And I don't know about you guys, but I want a big house and a nice
Mhm.
car, things of that nature. And I tell you, being the nicest guy on the block may get me a decent house and a decent car, but it's not going to get me a really nice car and a really nice house. What's going to do that for me is being a businessman. That's number one goal, is to make money. Now, there's going to be guys, I've heard them on podcasts right now. I can hear them in the back talking, going, no, 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 no. It's got to be all about the customer. That's true to a point. What I say, this is just me, and this is how I'll train my customers. Sales is number one. Customer service is number 1.5. It's not number two. It's not the second most
Huh.
important thing. It's almost as important as sales. Almost, but it's not. Sales is number one. It trumps all. Because without sales, we're all in a business. Without the money coming in, we don't have the benefit of customer service. We can't give customers good service if there isn't a good income coming in. So we have to make money. And the more we make, the better we'll be. I guarantee that. You'll have better tools, you'll be happier, you'll have just better shops, better parts to sell the customer, you'll have everything because you'll have more money to do all this. So I'm always thinking about this stuff and how I can make more money, but still be a good service to my customer, because obviously they're not going to buy anything if it's not something they want, because you have to sell them things they like, things they want. But that's probably the number one thing I could say to people is, you don't know what your customer wants, and don't think you do, and don't expect don't put the customer into your box. So if you think a Mac is expensive, you shouldn't say that. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what you think. If something's expensive or if it's too much money, you should never be thinking that, because a customer might not be thinking that. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know that they think that $1,600 for a 27-inch iMac is a lot of money. They might not think that. They might think that 27-inch for an iMac, or $1,700 for a 27-inch iMac is not a lot of money. You also shouldn't just go, oh, I'm going to sell you Google Apps because it's free for 10 clients. Maybe they don't want Google Apps. Maybe they don't want free. Maybe they want Office 365. That's $7 a user.